Well, it may be dry out now, but the wet weather is moving back into the Bay Area.
The timing is not good. Let's get straight to meteorologist Rosemary Orozco for how this is going to impact tonight's trick-or-treating plans.
Yes, indeed. Sliding in just in time for the late afternoon, early evening time frame. Looks like scattered showers. They will be generally light. Move from north to south. We'll continue to track it for you throughout the hour, and we'll talk about how much rainfall we are expecting, even the slight possibility of thunderstorms for this evening. More on this, plus what you can expect in the extended forecast coming up.
Rosemary, thank you. We'll move now to the latest on the president.
A dusting of snow in the Sierra, a little bit of rain for us. It's going to be a cool, damp Halloween evening. Mostly cloudy skies outside our door right now, and that is going to continue as we get into the second part of the day, giving you a view here at all that gray skies. We'll look out towards the west and the Golden Gate Bridge. We have a few scattered showers already approaching the North Bay coastline as well as the north edge of Sonoma. Eventually, it'll be hitting the ground, and we are looking at scattered showers for our trick-or-treaters. Sun will set at 6:12. Let's take care of the temperatures first, and then we'll go back to the radar. As we get into the evening hours, upper 50s to low 60s expected 5 o'clock. By 8 o'clock, widespread 50s in the forecast for the Bay Area, and continuing to cool by 11 o'clock. Hopefully all the kids are indoors by then. But if you have a late night, expect it to be a cool one out there with partly to mostly cloudy skies, and again, this bit of rain. The moisture is still to the north of us, at least the brunt of it, but it will continue to travel closer to the Bay Area, and it looks like it's going to arrive in the North Bay by about 4 or 5 o'clock, even picking up on a little bit of moisture here, likely to be virga, meaning not hitting the ground just yet, but it will. Here's a look at the Futurecast model once again. Very important on the timing here. 5 o'clock in the afternoon, already the scattered showers over portions of the North Bay, down along the coastline. As we get into the 6 o'clock hour, it's beginning to approach areas near the San Mateo County coastline as well as San Francisco. But notice the South Bay, the inner East Bay, at 6 o'clock, you're still dry. As we get into 7 o'clock now, it's crossing into San Francisco, crossing just into the East Bay here. By 7, 8 o'clock, it's now into the East Bay. But areas south, Fremont, San Jose, Livermore, Morgan Hill, all these communities still look mainly dry. In fact, you may get away with an entire evening of trick-or-treating with dry conditions, because here we are at 9 o'clock, and we're still looking at just bits of moisture, North Bay, East Bay, along the peninsula and into the Santa Cruz Mountains at this point. But it takes a while before it even reaches into the South Bay. And with that pattern I just showed you, easy to see. While we're not going to see a whole lot of rain, we'll get a few 100ths to the south. Areas to the north may pick up a third of an inch or so, and that's going to be about it. We begin drying out tomorrow. Temperatures right, but again, the big event for tonight is going to be, of course, the trick-or-treating, and I would say bring along the rain jacket just in case.
Still get outside, though.
Yes.
Plenty of candy waiting for all those children. All right, thank you, Rosemary.
Sure.
And grown-ups. Coming up, 49ers officials.
Well, if you're flying out of the Bay Area today, better to do it, Rosemary, early than later when the rain starts falling here.
Yes, we got a lot of cloud cover out there, but the rain not falling just yet. That will come later today, and it looks like it's going to be just in time for our trick-or-treaters. It's not going to be widespread, and some of us may actually get away with dry conditions, and I'll explain that in just a moment. Giving you a look here across the bay where it is plenty gray everywhere we turn this afternoon. We will remain with mostly cloudy skies, and as we take a look at this shot, we're looking at partly cloudy to mostly cloudy as we look towards the east. This storm is coming in from the north, in the North Bay, likely to see the most of this rain, and it's going to come early on. It's going to move from north to south, and you can see that already coming our way. A few sprinkles reported off the North Bay coast at this time, and most of it's still well to the north of us. Just a few bits of moisture popping up, most of it not hitting the ground. It's going to take until late afternoon before we see this. And with this system, not as much rain as we have seen. Again, not as widespread. Anywhere from a few 100ths expected over the South Bay to perhaps a third of an inch, half inch over portions of the North Bay, and we'll see a dusting of snow for the Sierra. Here's a look at the Futurecast model. Mostly cloudy at this hour. As we get into the afternoon, by 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, it's over the North Bay. But the rest of us looking mainly dry at 6 o'clock. So if you get out early, you may have some luck. As we get into the 7 o'clock hour, it's beginning to cross over just there along I-80, perhaps into areas near Concord and along the peninsula here, stretching down into areas right about Pacifica. We're now into the 7 o'clock hour. Still, the scattered showers, even heavy at times, perhaps thunderstorms, a possibility. Something to take note for the North Bay. It's now into the East Bay. We're into the 7 o'clock hour. San Francisco. But notice San Jose, Fremont, Morgan Hill, mostly cloudy, mainly dry. Livermore, mostly cloudy, mainly dry. We're now into 8 o'clock, and we're still with most of the scattered showers over the North Bay, into the East Bay, with the South Bay mainly dry. And that's why I say the South Bay, especially if you're going to be out early and back home early, you may actually get away with dry conditions. The North Bay, no such luck. Scatter showers will start there right about dinner time, perhaps even before. A mix of sun and clouds. Back to you.
Thank you, Rosemary.
Sure.
Coming up, Halloween safety. After a break, we'll talk about a new app that can help you.
A weak storm will sweep across the Bay Area in time for trick-or-treating tonight. We'll take a look at what's going on outside at this hour and a timeline of this system coming up.
That is pretty awesome. Well, the weather, that's the big question. Will it cooperate for our trick-or-treaters tonight? Let's check in with Rosemary. Good news, Rosemary, I hope?
Yeah, well, it depends on where you are. The North Bay already seeing light scatter showers, and the brunt of this moisture will be there. Where Ann is in the South Bay, we could have dry conditions for most of the evening, and that is some good news for the folks there. Let's take a look at what is happening on Storm Tracker 2, and you can see that light rain pulling into the North Bay, but notice the Central and South Bay, partly sunny, mainly dry. This is a weak system, not like the ones we have seen recently. It's just going to bring widespread, isolated light showers as we move through the evening hours. And over the North Bay, there's even a slight chance of thunderstorms. We've got some unstable air out there, at least it will be as we get into the evening hours. As far as the rain at this point, you can see along the coast, Paducah Bay, Inverness, down through Bolinas, and it stretches over across Highway 101. Could be a wet evening commute for some of us. Novato, Petaluma, Santa Rosa, got some there, in Sonoma, it looks like right there on the edge. Let's run through the next several hours and take a look at what we're expecting here. So by 4 or 5 o'clock, there it is over the North Bay. But for our trick-or-treaters central and south, looking still pretty good. By about 6 o'clock, it begins to actually sag into the Central Bay, Concord, Oakland, across San Francisco, down the peninsula to about San Mateo. But the South Bay still dry at 6 o'clock. 7 o'clock, South Bay still dry. 8, 9 o'clock, barely creeping into the South Bay. So again, San Jose, you may have a dry evening ahead of you. Meanwhile, the North Bay, not so much luck, and the Central Bay will have isolated showers. That's about all we're going to see, just the on and off light stuff throughout the evening hours. Here's a look at the temperatures right now in the upper 50s to low 60s. For our trick-or-treaters tonight, upper 50s to low 60s in the 6 o'clock hour, and then cooling back into the low 50s by the end of the evening. Sunsets at 6:12. As we get into the evening hours, again, that light rain will be moving to the south, and then by tomorrow morning we begin drying out. When I come back, I'll have a look at the extended forecast. We'll talk about how much rainfall we expect to see, and once we get past this system, we are drying out and warming up. I'll have a look at those numbers coming up.
All right, Rosemary. Hoping
Thanks,
that rain
Rosemary.
holds out. Thanks so much. Today, when we return.
A little bit of a dusting of snow perhaps for the Sierra as we roll through the next 24 hours, and for us here at home, a little bit of rain. I'm tracking it for you coming up after the break.
And Rosemary, they're going to get some tonight, huh?
Yeah, I think so. Just a dusting. This storm a lot weaker than what we have seen in recent days, but enough to bring some wet weather to the Bay Area, and it is in time for trick-or-treating tonight. Giving you a view back here, Storm Tracker 2, where we've watched the light rain begin to fall over portions of the North Bay in the last hour or so, and you can see at this point fairly widespread. The Central and South Bay still dry, but anywhere from Bolinas stretching through Inverness and over to Mill Valley along Highway 101, San Rafael, Novato, Petaluma, stretching into Santa Rosa. We've got rain falling there all the way into Guerneville. A little bit of green on the screen. Areas over towards Napa, Sonoma, stretches over towards Vallejo along I-80 in and out of Fairfield. Going to find some light rain here. It will move into the Central Bay. It'll move into the South Bay eventually. But I think for portions of the South Bay, you could actually have an entire evening, at least for trick-or-treating, mainly dry. And I'll show you that in the Futurecast model. Also want to point this out. 32 lightning strikes reported well to the north of us. There's Crescent City, and there's Garberville. There's Fort Bragg. So well to the north of us, some lightning strikes detected. And it has to do with the center of circulation right in here. That's where the most unstable, coldest air is. When it moves in into California, or you can see it already beginning to over northern California. We're going to leave in just a very slight chance for a few thunderstorms, perhaps over portions of the North Bay. So that is also something to take note, especially for the North Bay. Here's a look at your futurecast model over areas of the North Bay at 5 o'clock. We're now into 6 o'clock, stretching into the Central Bay. San Francisco, Oakland, perhaps our small communities here, Alameda, Emeryville, may have a few light scattered showers as we get into the 7, 8 o'clock. Notice it's very isolated and very just sort of widespread. It's not widespread rain. It's just widespread when it comes to the on and off periods of rain going on here. A few scattered showers here. But you'll notice the South Bay and areas like Livermore, Antioch still look mainly dry, and it's already 8 o'clock. So as we get into 10 o'clock, it does finally begin to sink south. But I think for our inner East Bay as well as our South Bay communities, you may actually get away with mainly dry weather for your trick-or-treating. Over the North Bay, no such luck. It's already falling there. And for the Central Bay, we'll have scattered showers as well. Here's a look at the rainfall amounts when I showed you the last graphic and just how isolated and sporadic the scattered showers are. Easy to see why the South Bay could only pick up a few 100ths, whereas the North Bay could get anywhere from a 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch with this system. It's going to continue to move out of the area as we roll through the overnight hours, and by tomorrow we begin to dry out, and then we begin to warm up as we get into Wednesday and Thursday with partly cloudy skies. As we roll to the evening hours, we are looking at dry conditions. Back to you.
Okay, looks fantastic.
All right, thanks, Rosemary.
Thanks, Rosemary. Well,
Bit of wet weather isn't going to ruin their spirits. We have these scattered showers that will continue as we roll through the evening hours. Let's take a look at Storm Tracker 2, and you can see very spotty in nature, very light, and we are looking at the hour. When I come back, I'll take a look at how much rainfall we expect with this system, a lot weaker than the ones we have seen recently, and when I expect us to dry out and warm up in the extended forecast. Ken?
Thank you, Rosemary. To get updates.
Sunday storm was a colder storm, allowing that snowfall to come all the way down to pass level, and we had advisories in place yesterday. No advisories right now. We are looking at a dusting of snow with this next system, but it is a fairly weak system compared to what we have seen recently, with just scattered showers here in the Bay Area. 55 degrees right now in Santa Rosa. You can see mostly cloudy skies. 59 San Francisco, low 60s in Oakland right now. Livermore 60 degrees. In San Jose, checking in at 62. The South Bay still mainly dry, so the trick-or-treaters there actually enjoying some dry conditions. Here's a look at Storm Tracker 2. We watched the rain pull into the North Bay right about 4 or 5 o'clock this afternoon, and has been making its way along the Central Bay and down into the South Bay eventually. Here's a look at some of the rain at this hour. We've got areas from Ballina stretching across Mill Valley. Highway 101 is a slick drive from areas right across the Golden Gate Bridge all the way in through San Rafael, in and out of Novato, Petaluma, crossing the Richmond-San Rafael Bridge. Let's head to the East Bay, where we do have some rain around American Canyon, Vallejo, Hercules, El Sobrante. You're going to find it along I-80. It's a wet commute all the way through Berkeley, Kensington, Emeryville, Oakland. Seeing some light rain here along 13, 580. And crossing over on 24. Let's take a look at 680, where we have some rain over Alamo, and then right along that junction there between 680 and 580, right around Dublin. Here's a look at the Central and South Bay, at least the southern half, where we again are dealing with just dry conditions, mostly cloudy skies, and a nice one there for trick-or-treaters. But it's been on and off. It's very light, a little breezy at times, not too bad. Here's the center of circulation. This is rolling through, bringing lightning and thunderstorms to northern California. We had a slight chance in our area, but haven't seen any pop-ups, so that is some good news as well. This is going to wind down. We're going to be drying out tomorrow. We're going to be warming up. When I come back, have a look at the Futurecast model as well as what we can expect for the rest of the week. Ken?
All right, thank you.
Outside our doors this evening, scattered showers falling across the Bay Area. We'll check in on the radar, talk about how long this rain's going to last and what you can expect for the rest of the week coming up.
Weatherball says it expects the most asked question to remain the same. How long does it take to thaw a turkey?
All right.
How long?
I don't know.
What's the text?
I'm not the right person to ask about thawing that turkey. You can ask me about the rain, though. It is falling in many spots around the Bay Area. Some of our trick-or-treaters getting wet. A little breezy out there. Mostly cloudy. It's been cloudy all day. But the rain is light, and you can see here as it sweeps through the Bay Area, it's just sort of on and off. And we are going to continue to watch this die out as we move into the overnight hours. And we are looking at dry weather for the rest of the business week. Here's a look at what's going on over the North Bay. We continue to see the light rain falling from Mill Valley, stretching across into San Rafael, Novato, around American Canyon, perhaps Richmond-San Rafael Bridge, stretches into the East Bay, Hercules, in and around near Vallejo. We had some falling along I-80 near Fairfield. That has since tapered off for the moment, as well as the East Bay shoreline. Last time we checked in, we had some right over Oakland and San Leandro, but that has since moved on. And along 680 and 580, you can see has actually tapered off as well. Over portions of the South Bay remaining mainly dry. All the trick-or-treaters here in this area have actually lucked out. We've got some right around Palo Alto and along the peninsula. It looks like maybe Campbell there. And this is, again, going to continue to sweep through as we get into the evening hours. Let's take a look at your Futurecast models. We get through 8 o'clock or so. Still continuing, just very spotty shower activity by 10 o'clock. Maybe more in the South Bay, but hopefully all our little trick-or-treaters are indoors by 10 o'clock or so. Tomorrow morning, we wake up with perhaps just a slight chance for a scattered shower. We're drying out for the rest of the day, and we'll have partly cloudy skies, mild weather in store for your Tuesday. As far as rainfall amounts, you could tell from the Futurecast model, not going to see a whole lot. Few 100s possible over areas near the South Bay, and the farther north you go, the better chance we'll get anywhere from a quarter inch to half inch. Temperatures right now in the upper 50s to low 60s. Watching it as we get a little bit closer.
Fine tune it.
Fine tune it.
30 minutes per pound if you put the turkey in cold water. Frozen
Thank you.
Turkey. There
Appreciate
you go.
that.
Looked it up.
Part of the world always pulls for Andre. We're a limping champion as well.
And a good guy to boot. All right, Joe Fonz, thank you very much. Thanks for joining us tonight. And be sure to tune in to the 10 o'clock news on Channel 2. Get the latest on the weather conditions out there. Good night.
Weak storm rolling through the Bay Area today, and just in time for our trick-or-treaters, we will have scattered showers, even the possibility of thunderstorms. Rolls into the North Bay by about 5 o'clock or so. Scattered showers then in the forecast by 6, 7 o'clock for the Central Bay. Takes all the way until about 8, 9 o'clock before it inches into the South Bay. Hopefully some of us will have mainly dry conditions. Temperature-wise, going to be in the low 50s as we get through the evening hours, so it's going to be a cool night. Take it easy on the candy and have a happy Halloween.